A very warm welcome to all our participants, our students, teachers, parents who have joined in today for the session. I, Urvashi Nandajog, on behalf of IILM University, welcome you to our open house session that is designed especially for students who aspire to join the world of journalism, media, and communication right after grade 12. Before we explore the department, let's introduce you to IILM and take you through the journey since 1993.
Today, IILM celebrates 28 years of excellence in higher education with a vision of being global, inclusive, and responsible. But how did we get here? Our story began in Delhi in the 1980s with the vision of its founder, Dr. Kulwant Rai. The roots of the institution began with the Banyan Tree School in 1986, which was followed by the establishment of IILM in 1993. Thereafter, several milestones were accomplished, one of which was the collaboration with the University of Bradford in 1996 that made us the pioneers of international management education in India. In the latter half of the 90s, we launched the annual cultural festival Mosaic, our first referee journal, Management of Change, and also had the privilege to welcome Dr. Manmohan Singh to the convocation ceremony in 1997. With the coming of the digital age, IILM went online with its website in 1998. It also established its second campus in Jaipur. The year also saw the launch of the Roshni Rai School that paved the way to free education for the economically weaker sections of society. In 1999, with immense pride, we held the first convocation for our undergraduate batch. Subsequently, the fifth annual convocation for the postgraduate batch had Mr. Arun Jaitley as our chief guest. 2001 marked the establishment of IILM Engineering Campus at Greater Noida. The feather to our hat came in 2003 when Business Standard rated IILM amongst the top 15 private business schools. We continue to spread our roots by establishing Banyan Tree schools across Chandigarh, Jagdishpur, Jaipur, Lucknow, and Bhopal, all of it steadily over the next decade. While IILM Institute for Higher Education started training senior IAS and IPS officers at our campus. In 2004, we launched our campuses in Gurugram and Lucknow. Humbled and grateful, we also had the privilege to welcome His Holiness the Dalai Lama at our campus in 2005. And in 2007, we were blessed to have with us Sri Murari Bapuji for our Founders' Day celebration. Every year, IILM confers the Global Thinker Award to distinguished thought leaders and stalwarts. In 2008, this award was presented to Professor C.K. Prahlad. In 2009, IILM signed the MOU with Indira Gandhi National Open University to jointly develop innovative programs in design at both the undergraduate and the postgraduate levels. Ushering in academic growth for industry leaders, we started training 5,000 employees of IBM Daksh in 2010 and continued to conduct several executive trainings for various companies subsequently. 2013 added significant accolades to our credit. It was in this year that IILM was selected as one of the champion business schools in India by UN Global Compact. In the same year, we were accorded SAKS accreditation among 7 other business schools in India. All of this strengthened our endeavor to take responsible education to institutions and corporates across South Asia and beyond. It was in 2014 that IILM Lodi Road hosted a TEDx event on the theme Lifelong Learning. One of the speakers was our alum Shailaja Bajpai, the youngest Indian at the time to climb Mount Everest. In 2014, IILM ranked amongst top 15 business schools in the world under the 3 Palms of Excellence. That year, our students continued to soar greater heights and won the prestigious NASA Rover Challenge in United States of America. In our endeavor to stay ahead with times and work on skill development in India, IILM signed an MOU with National Skill Development Corporation in 2015. In 2017, IILM Greater Noida received the NAAC Grade A accreditation. In the same year, our engineering students won the Innovation Challenge in New York for PRME, led by the UN Global Compact Leaders Summit. In 2018, our Greater Noida campus was awarded by ASSOCHAM as the best planned ecologically balanced campus in India. A moment of pride to see over 12,000 alumni successfully established across India and abroad. With each passing year, we continue to strengthen our network with industry experts and better establish ourselves in the world. In 2018, our MBA program was ranked 13 by EdUniversal and the same year saw the inauguration of IILM University, Gurugram, by Honorable Vice President Shri M. Venkaiah Naidu.
When you think about college, it's easy to think of it like a building or a large classroom. A test, long hallways, piles of books, a place where you're going to carve out your life. But when you get there, you realize you're not the only one. When you go to university, it's people meeting people, learning about each other and growing together. It's not always about knowing exactly where you're headed. There are books, there are tests, there are classrooms, but there's a very important part you can't put together on paper. It's living. It's working together to build something bigger than ourselves. It's laughter with conversations with good friends. It's experiencing who we are. It's expressing who we are. It's hard work, but lots of fun. So we go to college for the education, but in the end, what we take away is the experience. Experience IILM University.
I am also glad to know that the university mission is in sync with the vision of the Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Bhai Modi to create a new India on the basis of inclusive economic development through education and skill development among students. Education is important, skill development is important, skill upgradation, and also inclusive development. That's the need of the hour.
And keeping these skills in mind, IILM strives to make sure that your experiences are always worth the while. We understand that students today have many disciplines to choose from, but if you're looking at pursuing a career in PR or becoming a sports journalist, an editor or content writer, today's session is sure to benefit you. Today, we'll help you gain an insight into journalism, media, and communication, the learning experience with liberal education, and we will take you through the possible career prospects as you e-meet with our renowned speaker, Professor Shailaja Bajpai. This will be followed by a Q&A round, so feel free to drop in all your questions in the Q&A box, and we'll make sure that each one of them is answered. With that, I'm pleased to introduce you to Dr. Manisha Joshi, Dean of the Undergraduate Programs at IILM University, to take the next segment forward, ma'am. Thank you so much for joining in.
Yeah, thank you, Professor. Happy morning, everyone. On behalf of the Department of Journalism, Media and Communication at IILM University, I, Dr. Manisha, welcome you all to this brainstorming and an engaging session on what next after 12, why journalism and communications matter. So this open house will be addressed by the eminent media personality, Professor Shailaja Bajpai, who is an adjunct professor at IILM University. So Shailaja ma'am is a well-known name in print media and the world of academia. She is also an author of the novel Three Paths Desire, published by HarperCollins, and the co-author of TV advertising and its impact on children with Namita Gokhale, which was published as a book by Sage. She has over 35 years of work experience as a feature writer, reporter, and a senior editor. Her association with ThePrint, the Indian Express, India Today, Sterling Group of magazines is remarkable. At present, ma'am is mentoring and guiding effectively the Department of Journalism at IILM University to reach its new heights. So with this, I welcome you, ma'am, to take hold of the session and give us practical insights about the program and the School of Journalism. Thank you. Shilja, ma'am, you're on mute.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, I beg your pardon. Thank you, Dr. Manisha, for a very generous and warm introduction. Hello, everyone, and a very warm welcome to you this morning. Thank you for sparing the time to be with us here this morning. I know this is a very stressful time for everyone. What with the heat, first of all, it's really hot this morning, and you have exams around the corner or decisions to make about your future. My name, as Manisha has already, Dr. Manisha has told you, is Shailaja Bajpai, and I'm Adjunct Professor at the School of Journalism, Media here. As she also told you, basically I am a journalist. And at the moment, I'm working at ThePrint, which is an online news portal established by its editor-in-chief, Shekhar Gupta. There, I am reader's editor, which is a kind of ombudsman. I represent the reader, in fact. And I'm also editorial advisor there. I also write a weekly media column called Telescope, which appears every Thursday, if you'd like to catch it. And so I've been writing about the media since I think about 1985. It's a long time. But then I've been a journalist for a very long time. I began in 1983, and after training at the Times of India, I worked for various magazines during the 80s. You know, the 80s was the time of the boom in magazines. After that, and late 80s, I joined the Indian Express. I have worked at India Today too, but have spent most of my professional life at the Indian Express. I've been a feature writer, a reporter, a correspondent, and an editor. More significantly, I think, for this session, I was also the convener and director of what was called EXIMS, the Express Institute of Media Studies, between 2009 and 2016. EXIMS offered an 11-month postgraduate course in journalism, and many fine young journalists have emerged from there and now work for publications as well known as the Times of India, Hindustan Times, and of course at ThePrint and the Indian Express. In fact, I have several very good boys working at ThePrint with us from there. Now you might wonder why I'm sharing all these details about my career. It is really to reassure you and assure you that I actually have the credentials today to talk both about journalism and studying journalism. And I hope that I might also be able to guide you just a little bit on the choices you may like to make after the 12th, when you must decide what you will do next. What to do next? That is the question, isn't it? We're all scratching our heads in a sense, what to do next. The choices are infinite and they are exciting. I wish I was a student again. I really wish I was a student again, because I know when I went to college in the 1970s, we didn't really have many choices, right? And let me assure you that having too many choices and not having many choices is as confusing. So I was confused. Of course, for many, this may not apply. There are those of you and others who have already decided and know what they want to study and do with their adult lives. For some, it is engineering. For others, it's physics or economics. Someone wants to be a doctor, another a lawyer, while others are studying to take the civil service exams. One student wants to be an architect, another an IT geek. And so it goes on and on. The possibilities just multiply when you think of them. So those of you who have decided what you want to do, well, lucky you. That's really something that you have a clear vision of the future ahead of you. But for others like me, or like I was, you might be confused. You are still unsure about what you want to do. You have so many talents that you haven't yet explored, perhaps. So many roads that you see ahead that you may like to travel, but you're not sure where you want to go. And you also don't know what's the destination. I mean, I really feel that with you. Yeah, even now, I'm never sure where I'm going all the time. But a little secret I want to share with you. At your age, the good thing is you don't have to decide anything immediately. University, as you saw in the video that we just presented, university is a time of exploration. At IILM, for instance, you will have many, many choices. And you can explore different subjects through majors and electives, if that's how you want to do it. I think now there is a question.
Yes, ma'am, absolutely. If it's okay, I just wanted to actually understand a little better from yourself. And of course, we also have Dr. Divya with us from the Department of Journalism, Media and Communication. That can you explain to us what is meant by, the major and elective courses? Dr. Divya, could you just enlighten us a bit?
Yes, Urvashi, thank you so much. Indeed, it's a great question because many of the students are so confused. What is the difference between those and the minors? Well, to explain it, majors are the courses our students will be specializing, preferably in the field of journalism, media, and communications. Now, some of the core papers that the courses are. So students, you'll be studying courses like news and reporting, TV, radio production, say broadcast, maybe techniques of editing, or films and documentary course, a course on media laws and ethics, a course on corporate communication, advertising and copywriting, event management, or maybe you're interested, so you have a core course on PR, social media journalism. Now the minors at IILM University, what we offer to our students, they get a chance to opt courses from various other schools. Say they can pick up a course from law, they can pick up a course from international relations, they can pick up from psychology, management, and even from the design school. So this is what we have for majors and minors.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Dr. Divya. I think that would be very enlightening for the students to understand because at the university level, what is major, what are the electives. So thank you so much for highlighting those. Shailaja ma'am, back to you.
Thank you. So what Dr. Divya did is just describe to you is choices, choices, choices. That takes me back to when I was a student. At your age, frankly, I didn't know what I wanted to do either. I did well at school. I did very well at English. And although I knew I had to graduate, I really didn't know what I wanted to study. I simply, I think, had a vague ambition that I wanted to read and I wanted to write. That doesn't take you very far. Nevertheless, I ended up doing a BA honors in English literature. Which at that time really doesn't take you very far. I think now we've got another question coming in.
Absolutely.
Okay, good. I'm glad we're getting so many questions so early in the session. Thank you.
Questions galore. All right. So, ma'am, our next question is that, a student asks, I want to pursue a career in media and communication, but at the same time, I'm inclined towards management courses. How can I make the right choice? I think, Dr. Manisha, if you'd like to take that up, Manisha ma'am?
Of course. Thank you, Professor Obershi. Yes, that's a wonderful question. So we at IILM University preach liberal education. So our curriculum is woven in such a manner that students can choose their academic experience beyond the classroom, teaching through free electives, like Dr. Divya mentioned. So for instance, you got enrolled in BA Honors in Journalism, and now you still want to study a course from, say, psychology, management, law, international relations, or maybe subjects from design, like media and design, photography, and more. So my dear students, so this is all possible with a liberal education that we follow at IILM, blended well with our curriculum, making the learning purposeful. I hope this answers it.
It sure does, ma'am. And definitely
Yeah.
liberal arts is the new system of education in India for sure. And I'm glad that, we've already taken that step much ahead in time. Thank you so much, Manisha ma'am, for taking that
Thank you.
question up. I hand over the platform back to Shailaja ma'am.
I like my colleagues. I really do believe in a liberal arts education, and I'm partly going to tell you why now. Let me just get back to what I was telling you. The thing is, don't get intimidated by the choices or by the need to make the right choice, because actually, this isn't only about right choices. This is a time when you will become an adult. And you will enjoy the freedom and the sense of responsibility that comes with coming of age. You are coming of age. You're suddenly all grown up. And that suddenly feels so exciting. This is when you get to find out who you are, to try out new things, to discard old certainties that you thought you had in school, and to try new experiments at the university level. But more than that, it is really, I mean, I know this sounds very romantic, but I'm going to say it nevertheless. It's a time to find your soul, to discover yourself, and to explore different facets of your character before you have to make those crucial choices all adults have to make. You are in that intermediary period when you're going from being a student at the school level to an adult in the graduate level. This is truly a joyful time, and I really hope you enjoy it. As the the student sang in the song, what did he say? This is the time of your life. So it is the time of your life, and make sure you enjoy it. We hope, however, even though you don't have to make choices the minute you arrive at college, that at the end of the 3 or 4 years that you've done at the undergraduate level, that you do choose a future path and a future profession. Or even perhaps, which is just as important if you think about it, that you know what you don't want to do. Sometimes that's as important. You've done something and you think, nah, this is not for me. Well, good for you if you find out that. Today's world, in this modern world, the liberal arts are not considered very important. I'm going to say that, okay? And I think that's distressing because we live in a very specialized, individualistic world where everyone and everything is technology driven. We're always reaching for our mobile phone. And even now, I suppose most of you are on this session on your mobile phone. It's a technology driven world, right? Where IT and business degrees, startups, on and on and on, for older people like me, it's really quite confusing. Anyway, but that is the modern world. It is an interconnected world, ruled by the internet, even as we are doing this session via that. Thank you, internet. But it's a world full of information and misinformation, maybe even too much information. Which really brings me to why journalism, media, and communication matter. I joined journalism by accident. So you see, you don't have to make the choices. I didn't know what to do after a BA, but I was absolutely sure I didn't want to do an MA in English or to teach. I didn't think at that time that I was equipped to do that. So with a little encouraging and prodding from my parents, I wrote a few pieces for the Hindustan Times. They were well received, and suddenly, what do you know? I was in journalism. I went to the Times of India for training, and I've already told you the rest of that history. Now, you might say, why would anyone want to be a journalist? And I agreed with you at one level. Well, let me tell you this. Listen, if you want to make a lot of money, pots and pots of money then maybe journalism isn't for you. Which is not to say that you can't command a very good salary as a journalist. You can. You really can make good money. Salaries are competitive with those at the academic or civil service level. It's just that you may not become a multi-billionaire. That's all. Okay. And think about it. Some of the top TV anchors today command really very good salaries. Okay, so don't worry too much about the money. But if you're someone who looks for adventure and excitement, journalism could be for you. If you want to wake up every morning to something new, then journalism is for you. If you have an inquisitive mind and you want to learn, and by learning, I want to know, we gain knowledge every day as a journalist. Even now, I'm learning every single day something new. Then, in that case, if you're curious and inquisitive and want to learn, journalism is definitely for you. Just think about it. Just think about 1 week in my life as a journalist. I get to perhaps write about the Ukraine, the crisis in the Ukraine today. Tomorrow, it's the elections in Uttar Pradesh. Third day, it's about Imran Khan's no confidence motion, which, by the way, he has to face on Saturday. That's tomorrow. The day after, it will be why, if you remember, Will Smith slapped comedian Chris Rock at the Oscars. Day 5, listen, we have a new COVID variant in town. In Bombay, they just found one. Oh God, let's all be careful and wear masks up. And then on day 6, there's, as you all may know, a university entrance policy that has changed. And on day 7, even on day 7, which may be a Sunday, what do you know? Sonia Gandhi will give a very important and stirring speech, which has to be written about. So there's so much variety day after day. We wake up not knowing what may, what could, or what will happen. Isn't that worth waking up to for a change? After nearly 40 years in journalism, I still wake up every day with goosebumps, thinking with anticipation, what will the day be like? I wonder. Let me promise you this, in journalism, there is never a dull day. No, forget a day, there's never a dull moment. We're at it. So it's hard work, it's rigorous, but it's also fun and intellectually enriching. Also, there are many ways to be a journalist, as I think Urvashi said to you right in the beginning. You don't have to write about politics or the economy if you don't want to. Then maybe you find that was very boring. Oh, well, that's fine. You can be a sports writer. You can be also just a cricket writer, right? You could write just about hockey. You can write about fashion, food, film, Bollywood. You can write about Bollywood. Think about that. Or if you want to be a little more serious these days, health. It's the big topic now after COVID. So you could write about health, you could write about lifestyles. You could be a tech writer and take the latest Apple phone and review it. How about that for a job? Imagine doing that for a living. I must tell you a joke. Everyone laughs at me because everyone says I must be the only person who gets paid to watch television. And I genuinely do get paid because I have to write a column. So, you could do that. That's the beauty of journalism. You can write about anything and everything. But there are also other types of jobs. You can be a reporter. Supposing you like to be in the city on the police beat, crime beat. Oh, it's the best crime beat. Don't you all read about crime? So you can be a crime reporter. You could, if you're a little more serious and you want to have opinions, you could be on the opinion page. You could write edits. You could be a feature writer. Or you may not want to write at all. Some of you don't want to write, in which case you can sit on the desk and edit what other people write. And that's jolly good fun, I can tell you. But what if you don't want to be a writer at all? Well, you could be a broadcaster. You could join television. You could be, as they told you, an anchor. You could be a camera person. You could be a news producer. You could run your own podcast. You could learn to be a radio jockey. You could have your own YouTube channel. See, it's just, the choices are just multiplying out there. And I haven't even got to PR and marketing. Oh, and by the way, do some of you have that travel bug in you? You always want to be going places? Well, listen, with journalism, you will also go places, I assure you. Youngsters who've joined ThePrint, and we've had a lot join over the last few years, undergrad, just finished, graduates who've finished, They have traveled more in the last 2 years covering COVID or covering assembly and elections than I have in my entire lifetime. They've seen more of India. And if you watch television, haven't you noticed that all the major TV channels these days have correspondents in Ukraine, you know, with all that gear and on top of the tank? So you could be one of them. What's to stop it? You could be the next Ravish Kumar, Barkha Dutt, Nidhi Razdan, Navika Kumar. You never know. And that takes me to the next point. Something that journalism has, which you might not immediately think is a selling point, but it is. You could also be famous, almost famous, because you get bylines. You get your photo out there in the paper. Which other profession gives you that? And you could be seen on television. So if you're after celebrity, think about it. Think about the fact that yesterday, Arnab Goswami of Republic TV actually interviewed the president of Ukraine. Maybe one day you'll get to interview the Prime Minister of India, you know. So think about it. Think about it. Oh dear, I was just going to say something, but I'm told I just see there's another question has popped up.
Absolutely, ma'am. So this is exactly in line with what you had said, you know, and that's largely about a student wanting to question as to, you know, he always had a dream of becoming a news anchor, but how will the course help him? Could you enlighten us about that, ma'am?
Yes, of course. So, you know, we have, as part of your journalism course over the 3 years, you will in fact actually have a course in what we call broadcast journalism. And we have now got a spanking new media lab, which is all just getting ready for all those of you who are going to join us, where we will actually have a mock studio where you will be taught and you will learn not only how to sit and before camera, but behind the camera too. So it will be an intensive course in broadcast journalism that will teach you every aspect, right? So we're not saying only sit in front of the camera. Not all of us can. I'm really nervous today doing this because I'm not very good in front of the camera, but I'm very good behind the camera. And maybe that's what some of you want to do. I'm hoping that you will all actually produce your own news bulletins. Does that answer the question, Urvashi?
It sure does, ma'am. Thank you so much. We also have another question if you would like to take that up now or maybe later.
What's the question, Urvashi?
So it's related to, ma'am, if I don't want to be a hardcore journalist, will this course help me to get better career opportunities?
Yeah, it will. Can we just come back to that? Because I am coming to
Yeah,
that.
no problem.
Not a problem. Okay, because, you know, the reason I'm saying this, why I want to take that question a little later is because I've been telling you more of the fun part of journalism, and maybe you think I'm even making a few jokes at its expense. But the reason I did that was I wanted to give you an idea of the kind of things you could do. But I haven't told you the most important thing about journalism. And that is when I get to, sorry. Just a moment, please. At the Print, one of my jobs is to interview youngsters who have come for jobs. And I always ask them, so tell me, why journalism? And I cannot tell you, countless numbers say, ma'am, we want to make a difference, right? How can you make a difference? Well, journalism does make a difference. Just think back to a year ago, to this very day, perhaps. We were in the midst of the second wave, a very cruel second wave of the pandemic. And who was your friend and mentor through that, your guide through that? It was the media. It was journalists out there in print, on television, online, who told you about the lack of beds, about the absence of oxygen, and the terrible, tragic loss of life. Do you remember those photos and visuals of funeral pyres across near the riverbed, right? I mean, which of us can forget that, right? It was an alert to the whole nation about how terrible this pandemic was. And for the last 2 years and more, every day the media has provided you with information which you require to cope with the pandemic. That's because journalists have what we call a higher calling, a greater purpose in life. Many of you might know, or you may not, is that journalism is called the fourth pillar of society. Along with the legislature, that is elected MPs or MLAs, the executive, your governments, and the judiciary, the media uphold and protect the democratic values of society. Now that's big, but we've always been called the fourth pillar. On behalf of the people, we get to question those in power. We could question the Prime Minister or the local beat constable. You can ask them both questions and you can demand answers. You may not always get them, but you can demand an answer. We may not always speak truth to power. We like to think we do, but even if we don't, we are known to have brought governments down. And you'll think, what is she talking about? But of course, I just want to take you back to two instances very briefly. If any of you remember the Watergate scandal in the States that brought down President Nixon in the 70s, and that was done by journalists at the Washington Post. There's a movie, you can always watch it. I think it's called All the President's Men, right? But closer home, we had the Bofors scandal in the 80s, right? And that was when the Prime Minister then, Rajiv Gandhi, was accused of taking financial kickbacks from the Swedish company Bofors for a howitzer gun purchase. The Indian Express and the Hindu were at the forefront of that investigation into the alleged corruption. And we actually did find a trail, a very convincing trail that led us to the powers that be suggesting that there had been corruption in high places. You know, this brought down the government, right? And in 1989, when Rajiv Gandhi faced the electorate, he lost and VP Singh became Prime Minister. Okay, I'm not claiming that journalists alone brought him down. Of course not. But it was fundamental to the process that journalism and journalists exposed wrongdoing at the highest level. So, you know, I can tell you, unfortunately, I wasn't part of the team that investigated it, but I was at the Indian Express those days and I worked with those colleagues. And I can't tell you how exciting it was every day to see those stories. And I helped read them and check them, you know, for no spelling mistakes. Are the facts correct? So it was a really great moment for journalism. I don't even want to take you back to the emergency and what happened to them, but it's worth, you might look it up and see what happened to journalism then. All of this brings me really to my next point. You may say, well, okay, you've made a very nice speech so far, but why do I need to be a journalist? I mean, I can get all this information on social media. I can look at Instagram, I can go to Twitter, I can, wow, metaverse, Facebook, right? So I have all of those. I know what is going on in the world. And I know many of you, students I know because of students that I interact with here, don't actually read a newspaper every morning. So you'll say, well, why should I become a journalist, right? Okay, let me admit it. It's true, there is a great deal of information out there, right? That you can get out from any of these sources. But there's also a great deal of misinformation and fake news. Right? People tend to share opinions and forward messages without knowing their source or, and this is very important, their veracity. How true is it? Okay. I'm sure all of you have had occasions when you have encountered fake news, which is why we say that social media is a platform for gossip. Okay. Now, we journalists actually love gossip. Nothing thrills a journalist more than gossip because that's partly how we begin to chase a story. We're all gossips, right? And we have lots of space for it. But we don't rely solely on gossip, right? They might give us a lead, but after that, we have to verify the facts, check and recheck information before sharing it with you, the reader, the public. That's why editors are there. They have to question reporters, question what they write, demand to know the source of their stories, and to act as filters. This is very important. Journalists are out there to act as filters. Otherwise, you just have a sea of knowledge, you know, on which you can ride the waves. But we are there, we are like the ship. We will navigate your way through the ocean of information that you have. So much misinformation is being spread out there that you need gatekeepers, someone who will verify information and someone you can trust to tell you what is actually going on, right? So this is a very powerful reason that we believe in journalism as opposed to just anyone on social media, or what they like to call themselves, citizen journalists. But I won't go there, but that's a very doubtful place to be. Okay, I think you may have heard this, that they say that journalism is the first draft of history. And we're very fortunate to get to write it. Every day you get to write one paragraph at least of that draft of history. We are in the business of providing information and explaining to you what, when, where, why, how, and what next. Of telling you what is happening, why it's happening, and what may happen next. More importantly, why does it all matter? And that's our job, right? This gives us, journalists and the media, a great deal of power. A power which journalists learn to exercise responsibly, as opposed to someone who's just on social media, passing on a tweet, right? There's another thing you may argue. You may say to me, listen, we look at the media and frankly, we think you sold out. We're called very rudely, people call us Godi media, right? Depending on who you think, whose Godi you think we're sitting on. It might be the government's lap, it might be in business. But yeah, Godi media is something, that's a label we are carrying these days, And although you'll say, is it true? And I might have to concede that in certain, it is true to a certain extent, but that my answer to you and to that question really is that what makes it even more important and essential that young people like you who have joined us today for this session should think about a career in journalism. We need youngsters. We need youngsters to reinvigorate us and the profession and to renew, in the words of Nehru, our tryst with destiny, because we also have a tryst with destiny. We remember right that first page of history. Why is it also so important? Well, it is because unfortunately we have to admit that we live in contested, divided times where everyone has an opinion on everything and thinks they are right? And everyone thinks what we should be doing and what we should not be doing. And that's why journalism matters. We are here to provide you with, and now this is very important, yeah? We are here to give you objective, impartial news and views so that you can form informed opinions. You will have opinions, but we want those opinions to be informed. And how do you form them? With the help of journalists. For instance, isn't it very important for each and every one of us to know today what's happening in the Ukraine? You may think it's thousands of miles away. It's between Russia and a country called Ukraine, which most of us didn't even know existed until this crisis. But the price of fuel in India going up daily has a direct relationship with the conflict in Ukraine. And you need to do that. And it is my job as a journalist to tell you that and to explain to you why. So you can see that that is why we need young people like you to come into this. Okay, now I'm going to come to what I think may be the last point that I have to make for you. And that is, you might say, okay, but why should I study journalism? All right, you've convinced me it's a good profession, but why do I need to study it? To which I say, okay, I didn't, and you can be right, I didn't study journalism. I came from English and I went into journalism. Well, in those days, we didn't have many journalism schools, first of all. But secondly, I wish I had studied. I wish I had studied journalism at that stage. I think I would have been a better journalist for it. And after working at Exins as a teacher, I can tell you that it does make a difference. Because when you study journalism, you learn to improve your communication skills. And this is really important, right? You learn to improve your journalism skills. You learn to communicate better, and we also give you the skills that will make it easier for you to get a job in the field, right? And not only in journalism, right? When you are a good communicator, actually being a good communicator today is the need of the hour in whatever profession you may be, right? Because you are constantly needing now, either whether it's on your Twitter account or in public, or making presentations, as we all are in this new world, especially after COVID, when everything is on Zoom, we all need to know how to communicate well. So even if you don't want a career in journalism, we will still equip you to be better communicators. We offer you a 3-year course that will combine academics with practical skill development. That's the balance we're looking for. It's not all pedagogy, and it's not all ha ha he he, or let's play in the media lab. It's a combination of the two, right? So that we give you both. We are determined that you should have your academic grounding, but at the same time, we want you to take away from here the skills that will help you get a job. And I can tell you at the Print, when I see people who've come with a BA in journalism, media, communication, I always shortlist them. That doesn't mean that they'll always get the job, but they will definitely make it to the shortlist. So that's why it's important. Oh, Urvashi, I think there's a question, right?
Yes, ma'am, exactly. So the question is, if I don't want to I don't want to be a hardcore journalist, will this course help me get other career opportunities? I think you've pretty much highlighted it, but if you could just be a little more.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I haven't spoken as much about the other part of the course, which is really about communication, media and communication, where we understand more than what we think about as journalism. You may not want to be a journalist, but if you join our course, we have within the course, you will learn also about marketing, about advertising, and I'm hoping those of you who are with us will actually create your own ad campaign at some stage. You will learn about public relations, event management, and what I have never quite understood, but I hear it's very, very popular, something called content creation, content writing, okay? All of that is up for grabs after a degree in journalism and communication at IILM, right? Because we will be giving you courses in that. So you don't have to only think that you have to be a journalist. You will be up for that. And, you know, we have very good other schools that we hope will also weigh in this process. Am I not right? From our business school, for instance, we have very strong marketing courses, which you will be up for. Am I right, Dr. Manish?
Yes, ma'am, absolutely. So, ma'am, there is another question by Rakshita Mathur. Is journalism safe? Do they still have freedom of speech in true sense? We all know what happened in Ukraine and Russia.
I'm sorry, can you just repeat the question?
Yeah. So, Rakshita is asking, is journalism safe? Do they still have freedom of speech in true sense?
Is it
As
safe?
we all know,
is it safe?
Safe, yes.
Okay, yeah.
It's asking, is journalism feel safe? Because we all know what happened in Ukraine and Russia. So just, ma'am, if you can
okay. Well, very few people, yes, of course. I think just the other day I was at a meeting where we realized that about 500 journalists had passed away over the last 2 years in COVID duty. Yes, there is always a danger, but you know what? It's as dangerous as crossing the road. It's like any other profession, and you don't have to go to conflict. You don't have to do conflict reporting. You can, as I suggested, you have a very wide field, and we're all very responsible when we send out our young reporters. At the Print, we have sent out many young reporters, and I say so far, all of them have been very safe. Second part of the question, is it still free? My answer to you, it's as free as you will make it. Yes, I have so far in my career never faced any problem about freedom of expression. I have written, it's that, there's that excitement when you sit down to write or when you sit down to broadcast, just the story matters. You forget about any pressures or anything on you. You just do your job. Yeah.
Well, it answers that. Students, we would like to have more questions in the QA round. If you can come up with brilliant questions, we would love to hear them, right? And address them. Thank you. Over to you, ma'am.
No, I don't have very much now to say to you. I think you've heard it from me enough. I just want to say at the end of the day, our ambition is to make you good communicators, responsible journalists, and well, I mean, come be a part of history. That's what I say to you. And think seriously of joining the School of Journalism, Media and Communication. And we look forward to seeing you there. Thank you very much. There is a question, I think, coming up.
Yes, absolutely, ma'am. And we have a question largely on the basis of, the practical approach that we offer at the University for Journalism and Media, the course essentially, Journalism, Media and Communication. So the student wants to know that, what are the teaching methods that the professors adopt while they're actually teaching the course? Manisha, ma'am, would you like to, take that question up?
Yeah, definitely. So students, through the various workshops that we hold, through the master classes we offer at IILM University, the students experience different platforms of media that allow them to be prepared for a career that moves beyond the classroom, right? That includes all the features of news and communication. So students are also given the opportunity to interact with media experts and experience film festivals as part of their course, as this enables them to familiarize themselves with the field of journalism. So it's more
If I might
practical in
add,
nature.
I'd
Yes,
also
ma'am.
like
Yes,
to add
ma'am,
that,
sure. Yes.
as Manisha, we know we're going to invite many media professionals. In fact, already
Yes, ma'am.
some media professionals are taking
Are
courses. So you won't just learn it as an academic exercise, but you learn from the people who actually practice it every day of their lives.
Yes, ma'am, of course. Thank you, ma'am. Any other question, Professor Urvashi?
Yes, ma'am. We actually had another one which is quite linked to this, and that is, I think, Dr. Divya, you, ma'am, would be able to answer this. What about internships and placements? How do we work around that during our course?
Am I audible now?
Yes, ma'am, you are.
Thank you, Urvashi. So at IILM, we aim to, impart education which prepare our students to get accommodated for the practical work. That is about the field where they will be working. So it's a 3-year program. After first year, they have to go for a 2 months internship where they will be working with the NGO programs. And we do send our students to name a few, say Umeed, Vivekanand, Arogya Kendra, and we have the Ashman Foundation where our students have worked for the NGOs. They have learned what it is in reality and how they can align their learning into their journalism studies. All right, not only journalism, but media and communication as well. For year 2, they go for a corporate training. And for corporate training, again, it's minimum 2 months training where our students do try to understand. If I say about courses, they learn about copy editing, they learn about editing techniques, page making, news writing. They learn about how to report on social media, create content for the social media. What is digital and social media marketing? Even if I talk about preparing, as ma'am said, they will be preparing and learning about advertisement campaigns, how to report that, how to plan a campaign, say an election campaign. Like what we all know, how media plays a role when it comes to UP election or any big state elections. So that is what our students learn. And we have association with many PR agencies where they learn about advertisement, and we have tie-ups with news and media houses also.
Yeah, that's important, isn't it?
Yes,
we're
ma'am.
hoping that we can send the students to some of the leading news channels, online portals, newspapers. This is work in progress, but this is something that will really benefit the students when they're actually in the TV studios working with that. So that could be something very exciting during the internship, right?
Very right, ma'am.
I also wanted to add one thing, like the first newsletter that has come up, so that is all student driven. So our students have come up with a newsletter. So that's wonderful of that. So with this, we move to the next question, Professor Urvashi.
Yes, ma'am. And it's connected to this one itself. Shailaja ma'am, would you like to highlight, what are the job opportunities that a student can find, right after a degree in journalism, media, and communication?
I think I did deal with this, Urvashi,
Right.
in one sense, when I said that the choices for you are, there's a wide array of choices. You can do almost anything you want to. You can be a photographer, for instance. Photojournalism is one of the most exciting fields, and I'm hoping next year we can bring one who I consider to be the best photojournalist in India, Praveen Jain, to IILM, to see you, for you to see his work. So you could be a photojournalist. As I said, you could write just about food. You can write about politics. Look at it this way. You can be in print, broadcast, online. Okay, those are the three fundamental breakups. Within that, there are so many jobs in each of them. And we're fortunate enough, India is one country just now where actually the media is still flourishing. If you go to places like the United States or in England, they've had to shut down, especially newspapers have shut down. TV and radio's local stations have shut down. That's not the case in India. In India, we're still growing, which is very good for us. And one of the reasons which I didn't mention earlier, but which I am going to mention now, and I think it may be important for some of you, is that you don't only have to write in English. You don't only have to communicate in Hindi. You can do it in an array of regional languages. Actually, one of the most exciting things that's happening in India is all happening in regional press, right? They are growing. Look at the South. It has the most marvelous free press. You asked me a question earlier about freedom of the press. I mean, do you know that India has over 400 24/7 news channels? I'm sure you didn't know that. I think the number is now 500. There is no country in the world that has 500 news channels 24/7. So you can imagine the number of jobs there. Okay, look, I'm not going to oversell this. I'm not promising that it's easy and the minute you're out of college, you're going to get a job. No, that's not the promise. The thing is, there is a lot to do within it. The journalism and the media, all media, the industry was hit hard by COVID like everything else. But we have survived that, and hopefully the trend is upwards. Does that answer your question? I'm sorry, I got a bit carried away on regional press.
It absolutely does, ma'am. Absolutely it does. So I have another question. Manisha, ma'am, if you could take that up. This is that how is IILM different from Delhi University? Ma'am, you're on mute.
Yeah. Can you hear me now? Yeah. So as I mentioned before, learning at IILM goes beyond the classrooms, right? So from lectures, case studies, experiential learning, summer school options, innovative learning at IILM University ensures that students get the best experience within and beyond their classrooms. So we imbibe its educational philosophy in the concept of liberal education that ignites the unity of all knowledge. It draws you towards two distinct goals that we offer. One, general education across the wide range of liberal arts course. Second, focusing on education in a chosen specialization. We have a very unique mentor-mentee concept, student advisory, right, as one of its unique features that makes us very distinct from other universities. You can take a course in a field you may not have otherwise encountered, learn about a subject that sheds light on a potential major. You can study abroad, you can pursue a second major, a minor, or you can investigate any other area of interest.
Doesn't the link end at 12 o'clock?
So does it answer, Urvashi?
Absolutely does, ma'am. And I have the next question actually for Divya, ma'am. So which is quite in quite in relation to what you have spoken about, the experiential learning part, but largely on whether we have any field visits that we have taken our students to, and if yes, then what are those? Divya, ma'am.
Yes, Urvashi, I would like to answer this question because, most of the times when we meet students, they have this question, ma'am, how we are going to learn in practical, where we are going to go for the field trips, are you going to arrange something? So I would like to just share a few field trips which our students went. And it's not like about a year or this year. I'll just talk about how many. So currently, our first batch will be graduating. And if I speak about their tenure at IILM and their learning, they were given exposure to go for a field trip. Say they visited the ABP headquarters, the Times of India printing press in Manesar, they visited. And if I talk about the last week, students had an opportunity to attend a book promotion, which was conducted by Meera Nair and Barkhat. And students also get an opportunity to attend the Jaipur Literature and Film Festival. They have even attended International Film Festival, which was, if I guess, it was in the month of February, which was held in New Delhi. So our students are given exposure where they can meet with people, interact with the industry experts, learn from them, and try to apply. And not the least, recently our students visited the Sundar Nursery for a photo walk, and you can come visit and see the exhibition, the kind of beautiful photographs they have clicked. And as ma'am said, we need to learn how to communicate. Their pictures communicate. So that is journalism, that is photojournalism.
That's really cool, ma'am. Thank you so much, Divya, ma'am. I have the next question. I think, Shailaja, ma'am, if you can answer this. Do we offer something like a filmmaking course? Is there a provision for that within our curriculum?
Sorry, would you repeat the question, please?
Do we have a filmmaking course as part of our curriculum?
Yes, well, let's not call it filmmaking because let's not exaggerate what we're doing. But what we do, when I told you we had broadcast journalism, which is fundamental to what we will teach in the course of 3 years, that will include all that you need to know for filmmaking too. Nowadays, you just need your phone, right? This has become our camera. Everyone's got it and everyone's shooting on it and films are being made through it. So we will teach you. We have a studio which will have all the lights, all the equipment, the soundproofing to teach you camera work, editing, lights, and you're on camera. So, a shoot. So, yes, we are not teaching filmmaking.
Ma'am, you're on mute.
We don't teach filmmaking as a discipline as yet, but we do teach you all the skills that you require for it with video and video editing and setting up a set and lights, as I said, everything.
Thank you so much, ma'am. I'm sure that
Urvashi, I would like to add here. So as ma'am said, in person, we are not teaching, but we are taking care of few of the courses, like students would be learning films and documentary. They are learning media and films. And under their discipline-specific electives, they can opt for a course like VFX and animation. So there are a few options which students have as an opportunity to learn about filmmaking.
That's amazing, ma'am. Divya, ma'am, we were, when you were talking about this entire journey of a student, and even Manisha, ma'am, highlighted this, do we also have some kind of extracurricular engagements for the students, let's say clubs and societies? I do know that, there's a very active Department of Journalism club here, but enlighten the students a little bit about that, ma'am.
Sure, Urvashi. Students are very excited when it comes to showcase their talent. And as I say, the term of journalism club will itself, explain what it stands for. So it's Nazariya, the journalism club. And by the word, it says, we look at society. So student body is there who is taking care of the club. And they, prepare reports from not only college, but about to the world also. And as an integral part of the club, if I can remember, recently we screened a movie for our students learning related to one of the module, and that was No One Killed Jessica. Students did watch a movie and they tried to interpret and learn about it, how to apply it. Then we arranged a debate competition on the hijab ban, which was a burning issue, and a story competition which was Spin the Yarn, and students got an opportunity to come up with their ideas, thoughts, how they can ideate, how they can present their thoughts. Along with this, they have an opportunity to even participate with other clubs like Literature Club, HR Club, Entrepreneurship Club. If in future they want to start up something on their YouTube channel as a media professional, or they want to take up something related to, they want to open a media house or new house, entrepreneurship is going to help them, HR is going to help them, and literature is always welcomed everywhere. I hope it does gives an answer to the student's query.
Oh, yes, ma'am. We have some, like a host of activity clubs and academic clubs. And I think the engagement of the students in that and the energy is just infectious. So thank you so much for highlighting that. I'm going to just skip to the next question. And this, I think, Manisha ma'am, if you'd like to answer that. How can I apply for the program? Are there any entrance exams? What is the application process?
Sure. So students, you're required to fill out the application form on our website. So as you apply it, you will receive a call from our admission department if your application is accepted. And the second part of the question, do I need to give the entrance exam? No, students, you don't have to appear in any entrance exam, but you need to pass the interview scheduled with the interview panel of the university. There is no entrance test. You just have to fill the application form on our website.
Perfect. Thank you so much, ma'am. So the next question is actually on scholarships. So students, we do have scholarship options that are available for undergraduate and postgraduate students. It is given on our website, but just to give you a quick brief, it is we offer a merit scholarship. We offer merit means scholarship. We also offer students who have got outstanding achievement in the area of their expertise, let's say in sports or cultural, right? These are largely what we offer on, at IILM University. But for that, of course, you need to provide the legitimate documents for the same. With that said, ma'am, I'm just going to go to the next question, and that is the student exchange. Well, of course, international exposure has always been one of the questions that students always ask us at the time of admission. IILM has been known for its international collaborations, and you can again look that up on our website. I've put in the link of our website, so in case you have any questions, you can just hop across. I've also given the email ID as well as the contact number that you can reach out to. We have summer internships, or you're looking at summer training programs essentially, or you're looking at summer schools. That's one part of it. The second is the articulation programs, which is the international transfers, right? So we have that. So in case you have any questions about all of this, I'm sure you will have it, and that's perfectly okay. Just call us up. We'll help you out with individual guidance and individual counseling. With that said, ma'am, any parting thoughts for today? Shailaja ma'am, Manisha ma'am, Divya ma'am?
No, but I just want to say what I did say then, that really being a part of journalism and communication is, they're both very important today, crucial, but they're also good disciplines for you to follow, because in a sense, they open the world to you, right? And they allow you to have all the possibilities after that. Even if you do a BA in them and you don't want to become a journalist, they still have opened up the world to you. And I cannot think of anything that is more important for a student at the undergraduate level than to have a view of the world. So be a part of history, as I said, and we hope to see you there. Thank you very much, Urvashi, for this opportunity. Thank you to all the students, and well, maybe there are even some parents out there for generously sparing your time today to be with us. I hope we've helped you just a little bit to perhaps make up your mind. Thank you very much to Manisha and Dr. Divya also. Thank you so much.
Our pleasure, ma'am. And thank you so much, students, parents, and Shailaja ma'am, of course, for sparing your valuable time today to join us. Do join us, students. Do apply, experience, and engage. Thank you so much, students. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. A warm thanks to Professor Urvashi and the entire team of Journalism Department. Thank you, ma'am.
I would like to thank everyone, starting from Professor Shailaja Bajpai, Dr. Manisha Joshi, Professor Urvashi, Professor Lydia, Professor Aditi, all the students of the Journalism Department, everyone here, IILM fraternity. Students, one message: believe in yourself and select the right course, you will enjoy it. Thank you, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Thank
My
you so
heartfelt
much.
thanks
Bye.
to the admission team, to
Yes.
Vikram sir for hosting this event. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Manisha ma'am, for bringing this. Yes, indeed. Thanks, a big thanks to everyone.
Bye
With
then.
that, we're calling it a day for this session, but stay tuned. Subscribe to our social media channels. We're up there on the IILM Instagram page, as well as on the Facebook pages, LinkedIn, of course. Go to IILM University, stay tuned, and enjoy the journeys of what the students have experienced. In case you have any questions, feel free to drop it in right in the email that we've already shared across on the chat box, or feel free to come by the campus. We'll be more than happy to have you. Stay safe, stay healthy. Thank you so much to the entire panel for joining in today. Until next time. Thank you.